Oh yeah, baby. That was the first week of football. Speaking of balls, how about Brandon Day balls? That guy was a freaking maniac with that 2-point conversion. The
You caught
Giants
me
had
off
a
guard.
great win. Um,
Yes,
you had
sir.
Joe Burrow. I thought he had a new offensive line. I guess it's the same offensive line. Um, the Jets obviously don't know what they're doing with Joe Flacco. They don't know what the hell's going on. Aaron Rodgers looking for a wide receiver to catch a ball. Um,
That's a lot.
The Cardinals have no depth. I'm not even saying the whole word of defense because they don't even deserve the word defense on that team. Patrick Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson went bonkers. It was such a maniac freaking week of fantasy. But before we get into all of it, we got the co-host out of here. We got C, aka Christopher. We got Chris, aka Christian, up in here. We ready to talk to you guys about what just happened over this crazy week. What is going on, guys? What's going on, C?
Hey, we getting there. We took W's. I took W's in the fantasy. I took W's in real life. I can't believe the Giants actually pulled it off. But I did not know in the last video I was gonna be able to wear this hat today in this podcast, but I'm able to wear it because the Giants somehow pulled it off. Good job for Dayballs,
Yeah.
as you said it.
How
So
you
I'm happy about
doing?
that.
How you doing, Chris? I know you had a good week.
I'm good, man. I take W's in fantasy, take W's in real life,
And
man.
then
You
you
know,
taking that one L against
my
me,
team
but it's
won as
okay.
well. Stuff happens. But I started off last season 0-3 and ended up winning. But that's a different story.
Listen,
Um,
last
you
year's
know,
last season. Shut up.
the Steelers won after missing 55 field goals.
Oh, bro. Oh my
But
God.
we picked up the dub. The Giants picked up the dub. Saquon Barkley, Chris looked freaking amazing.
Crazy.
Vintage?
And
Vintage
yeah,
Barkley?
Oh my
let's
God,
see if he could
The
keep
New
it up.
York
We'll see.
Barclays,
Vintage,
But
man.
vintage
it was a
Barkley.
good weekend,
Listen,
man.
let's talk real quick. That Giant game was nice. Obviously, it showed more of the skills of Brian Dable and his offensive mind than it did Danny Jones. I don't think Danny Jones did anything special. I think it was just like Chris said earlier, like C said earlier, it was Team Barkley. Barkley played phenomenal. Brian Dable is the first head coach using his best player, and that is just beautiful to see. Obviously, every week, if they're gonna use him like that, you're gonna be scared every single week. So hopefully he finishes the game and he gets to walk off the field and get ready for next week. But if we're talking about this Barkley for the rest of the season, he's top five, top three, top one maybe. He finishes the season. He already finished the week with the most yards, 174 yards, freaking monster. I don't have his stats on me, but I know he caught a
He's
lot of balls.
RB1 right now,
Oh, of course, he's
in the
RB1. He
league.
he
I have to
finished.
see what his stats are. You
He
could
I
talk
know he
about.
had a bunch of receptions. The Giants did really good. And a lot of Giant fans was like, listen, that was a gutsy play call by Brian Dayballs. But he got a lot of balls. He was
It's in
going
his
for
name.
he went for the +2. Like he wanted to win it, and I loved it. I'm not a Giant fan. I can't stand the Giants because of certain Giant fans. They get on my nerves. But you give respect when it's due. And that is what you want in a brand new coach. I don't know how much more excited you can be. I think Giant fans should be on cloud nine. You have a coach, and that coach and that GM, I think you should be really excited. I love what he did. He started dancing with the players in the locker room. That is a coach you want on your team, and it's sad, but at least one New York team was able to freaking look somewhat promising for their future. So very happy. What a good game. The only negative we could talk about really quickly is it's clear that Kadarius Toney is not a part of this future of the Giants. So um, people
I
drafted him.
wouldn't say all that. I mean, there was news that came out after the game with Dayball making a statement about Kadarius Toney. I actually have that.
Yeah, I heard about it, and I think it actually helps my argument even better because he said he's gonna be in some plays, he's not gonna be in all the plays, and he will be in some, he won't be in all. I paraphrased it, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said, and it sounds like there's not much excitement. I think if Wandell is not hurt for a long time, I think Wandell Robinson might be interesting because he might play that role.
Mhm.
But Giants had a good win. Tennessee, Derrick Henry didn't do what Derrick Henry normally does, so it's kind of depressing. But I don't panic. It was a good game. Yo, Chris, let's talk about the Steelers real quick. Who would have thought
Listen,
that
man.
Steelers? How many sacks again? How many intos? It was like five, four.
Five five insos. No, four
Goodness,
insos, one fumble.
Yeah,
It
four and
was
so.
amazing.
my
I was
goodness.
excited. On the offensive side, not as well, as exciting, but that's expected, when you have, you know, Trubisky as your QB. But just to show that Steelers are still the best defense. They have been the best defense for over a decade now. They still prove that they can play. Sucks that Najee is gonna be out for a couple weeks. Not too bad.
Well, actually,
But
we'll get into it,
yeah,
but
we'll
since
get
you already
into it.
mentioned it,
Yeah.
he actually should be en road to play this week, and if not,
Okay.
he's only gonna miss
Yeah.
this week,
Okay.
from what the
Yeah.
reports
I
that I
heard. Yeah,
got.
1 to 2
Yeah,
weeks. Yeah.
so it could be this week only, but it looks like he's on track to playing. It has to be closer, but we'll
Yeah.
talk more about that. The game was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
That Fitzpatrick block on that extra point was just ridiculous. I don't know. I I wish I could know what that feeling was to actually compete and win a game, but when I talked to you guys about this Saturday, is that the Jets had to do three things, and and if they didn't do one of the things right, if they did one of the things wrong out of the three things that they need to do, they were gonna get blown out, and that's exactly what happened.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, it was a slow
uh,
starts for the Jets, but honestly, I thought that their defense looked really good. They even had a
that
game plan, and I told you in the beginning of that game when they were trying to shut down Andrews, which was their best target, which they were actually doing effectively, but they can't shut down this guy Wilson can't do everything, and if he's shutting down Andrews and Duvernay is wide open 20 yards down the field, I mean, what else can he do?
Yep.
no,
Yeah,
listen, I
yeah,
hear
real
you.
quick before you go, Jay, like I wouldn't even like really worry too much about the Jets right now just because um you don't have your quarterback right now.
No,
He is hurt so a
right.
little bit. So I mean like yeah, I mean it sucks. Brees Hall really didn't do much. Joe Flacco couldn't really do much. But I mean, you are playing with Joe Flacco.
No, 100%.
So I would say maybe when Zach Wilson comes back, then you could really evaluate the team and say, okay,
Oh yeah,
whether we're
listen.
bad or good. But I wouldn't really hurt him out too much though.
Yeah, the first thing I was gonna say is that if there is any other Jet fan that listens here, they should not panic yet. Don't hit the quick panic button. I didn't hit the panic button.
Mhm.
I just know that we're gonna be really slow on
Yeah,
offense just because that
for a
Joe
few weeks.
Flacco is not mobile. The Jets going into training camp on paper was a top 10 offensive line with Mekhi Beckham. Mekhi Beckham's out for the season. Now you move our left tackle to right tackle. You sign Dwayne Brown or Dwan Brown, whatever his name is, to left tackle. Now your offensive line top 10, top 15 on paper. He's on the IR now. So your right tackle, who was your left tackle, switched from left to right. And then now since Brown got hurt, he had to switch right back to left tackle. And then they put a rookie at the right tackle. So that offensive line, that is the worst you're gonna see it. I truly believe because they didn't know what's going on. Um, it wasn't good. You mentioned it, Brees Hall. He was doing okay. He was doing pretty solid, and then the fumble probably set him back for the next couple of games. We don't know what's gonna happen with that fumble. The game was slippery, but you gotta hold on to the ball. It was clear that Michael Carter is still the lead guy, and like I said, because of that fumble, it might take that away. I think Michael Carter did really good. I think he's a solid start even against the Cleveland Browns this week. I think you could flex him in because Joe Flacco dumps off. Brees Hall
A
was doing
lot, yeah.
solid. Yeah, Brees Hall was doing solid. I started him. He was gonna give me like 10, 11 points. Then he fumbled. He was doing okay. I think there's a lot more excitement for him towards the end of the season. But you have your takeaways, but then you look at the other side of the field. Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. He played awesome.
Mhm.
Rashad Bateman only caught two balls. That one deep touchdown saved a couple people's leagues, including myself. Um, Duvernay, if I'm saying it right, or
Duvernay, I believe that's how you
Duvernay,
say it.
yeah, Duvernay, caught two touchdowns. So it looks like Lamar Jackson is spreading the ball. Mark Andrews didn't do great as people would expect from where they drafted him at, but like Chris said, the Jets' game plan was to take out Mark Andrews, and they did. They did a good job. Sauce Gardner, I saw the stat, and I don't quote me, but I thought he only got targeted three times. I think I could be wrong, but Sauce played great. I like Sauce. I like the defense. The offense got to get it rolling. So that was not really that was a little bit of fantasy, but mostly just
Our
talking about
teams,
our
yeah.
teams that 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 we went through. I'm the only one that took the L, but you guys had a good win. I'm happy for you guys that you guys won, but I much rather my team win. Let's move into the news and the notes. There's a couple of things, a lot of injuries that's going on. The main one right now is Elijah Mitchell,
Mm,
MCL, 8 weeks. He's out.
yeah.
So right now, a lot of people were just saying Jeff Wilson, you pick him up. But I'm just gonna add to that news, the 49ers signing former Texas running back Marlon Mack. So
Oh,
they just signed Marlon
this
Mack.
news is about Marlon Mack.
Well, yeah. So
That's crazy.
it's I don't think he's gonna be close to
Nah,
taking the job. I
nah.
think San Fran always has the guy ready. I think if you want to go after Wilson, you could get Wilson. You could also go after Price, who was the running back they drafted this season, this
Hmm.
past draft
Yeah,
class. But
Tyron,
yeah,
supposedly.
but if you was to put your guess, I think Jeff Wilson will be a good pickup. Another injury, everybody already knows you lost your QB1. Dak Prescott broke his thumb. We thought it was a 6 to 8 week recovery, but Jerry Jones went on and said that they expect him to be back after 4 weeks. So let's talk about Dak Prescott real quick. If he's not playing, how do you feel with CeeDee Lamb and Zeke and Tony Pollard, who didn't have good games?
I don't feel great just because of how poorly the offense was with Dak. So now you take Dak out of the equation, how confident are you really? We were all confident with CeeDee Lamb going into the season, Dalton Schultz, Zeke, Pollard, but now, seeing how poor they played with Dak, now without him, it's a little iffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could go either way for Zeke and Pollard as we need to rely more on running.
Yeah, they could get dump offs.
Yeah, we need to, or dump offs, or they need to rely more on running because with Cooper Rush, you're not getting as a strong passing game as you would um with Dak. But
Yeah,
it
so
is what it
a little
is.
stat for you guys is that last season when Dak missed a game, Cooper Rush played and he had 11 targets to Amari Cooper and 10 targets to CeeDee Lamb. So I think that's still enough targets that you obviously gonna start CeeDee Lamb. I don't think you're
Mhm.
gonna sit him.
You drafted him
Um,
too high
you
to sit
drafted
him.
him, so you're gonna
Yeah,
play him.
And He's still
Uh,
he's still the number one option. You gotta
Yeah,
start him.
you're gonna play him, but if you have CD Lamb on your team, and if it was me, and it's confirmed that Dak is gonna be out 6 to 8 weeks, I'm probably looking towards trading him. You may not get much value, but you gotta aim for the fences there, depending on if you have more injuries on your team. There's a lot more that went on during the week. Najee Harris got hurt, but real quick before I switch over to that, Zeke only had like 5 points. I want to just pause the panic button on him real quick. He only
Mhm.
had 10 carries for 50 something yards. He averaged 5 yards per carry.
Yeah,
Zeke was
that's
eating. He
hmm
actually was eating. But the problem was that they were getting spanked, so they didn't need to run the ball.
yeah.
And what's messed up with Tony Pollard this season is that Tony Pollard is a bad blocking. He's bad at blocking for the third
Yeah.
downs. So that might cause Zeke going right back to third downs also. It might be we don't know what's going to happen with this backfield.
yeah, because their
Now,
line is hurting as well.
the line is hurting. Tony Pollard cannot block. He's a terrible pass blocker. And I think if he's that bad, they're going to end up putting him motion to the slot and have Zeke still in the backfield. They both probably still be there and use Tony Pollard to catch some screens and run up the field. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, you're not excited with what CeeDee Lamb is gonna do probably because of how high you drafted him. Zeke and Pollard drafted a little bit lower. You still should be excited. You still should be solid. I don't. Pollard is a little bit more worried with some because of how bad he did with his blocking. Because if you can't block on third downs, then you might not be the third down back. So you might lose some of those snap counts. I think Zeke should be okay with. Dalton Schultz is the only one that played that did positive. That you could be
About
positive about.
13 points. Yeah, I
That's what you expect.
like you said, he's gonna do a lot of dump offs, and Schultz is not gonna be 40 yards down the field. He's gonna be in the middle of the
Yeah,
field, open, getting something. So I still think he'll get his targets. If they somehow make it to the red zone with this terrible team, I think he'll be a
that's the
big.
problem.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the thing. If they somehow make it to the red zone, he'll be a big red zone target. But that is the problem. If they make it
yeah,
to the red
that's the
zone, will
problem.
CD Lamb be having trouble scoring? Will Tony Pollard be scoring? Will a lot of touchdowns a
A
big
lot of
part of the
things, yeah.
games. That's 6 points right there. So what are you gonna do there? So
Yeah.
that's where the
So
big problem is.
at this point, if you want to explore trades, you explore trades. If you need to get rid of CD Lamb, somebody would want him, knowing that their squad is stacked up. Like, oh, I'll trade for CD, and I'll give you a couple, one maybe two players, and I'll keep Lamb because if Dak comes back, the old Dak, then he's good. But Dak got the same injury as Russell Wilson last season, so that hand may not be the same. Chris Godwin suffered a hamstring on Sunday night and will miss some time. We all agreed on this. I think they rushed him back too fast. I think
Oh
he
yeah,
should
for sure,
just.
for sure.
I think that was bad. Because he looked good, but
Mhm.
he looked good and it messed him up. They should have let him rest 1 week. The good thing was that they only found the hamstring, so that he didn't re-injured his ACL. So that's good news. Just that a hamstring could linger for the whole season, and you don't want to deal with that. So with that being said, if Julio Jones is on your waiver wire, scoop him up. I think he's a scoop up. I think he's a stash because he looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julio Jones looked really
They
good that
even
game.
used him for a couple rushing plays as well.
And you know why that is? Because he's statted as the fastest guy on the team.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which is
Crazy.
crazy because I think he's the oldest wide receiver on the team, which is freaking crazy.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean he's most likely rostered. He's 98% rostered. He has a name, so people looked for
yeah,
him
no,
in the
and
fantasy
also
draft.
he went to Tom Brady's team, so it's like
That's what
I
I'm
gotta
saying.
expect it.
So
If
but
you have him, I think you start him this
you
week.
just start, yeah, for
Yeah, I
sure.
think you start him. I'm starting him in my league, in one of my leagues that I got him. He has a great matchup. I just looked at it and I forgot who they playing, but he has a great matchup no matter where he goes because
Who,
now
Tampa
without
Bay,
Godwin, yeah, I know he has a good
They played
matchup.
New Orleans,
New
no,
Orleans,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
No.
I'll take that. Yeah, I'll
yeah.
take that. The next injury, Keenan Allen, hamstring as well. He's apparently gonna miss this week on Thursday. So maybe Mike Williams wakes up because I don't know what the hell that was.
Yeah.
Uh, hopefully this wakes up Mike Williams because Justin Herbert lost his number one weapon. By the way, Keenan Allen looked great. Like
Oh
he looked like
yeah,
a stud.
for sure.
He looked
I feel like
amazing.
if we had a healthy Keenan Allen all season, I feel like he could have had a top five, top three. I mean, I don't know how long he's gonna be out. They're thinking a few weeks, but it could be less. But
Yeah,
Keenan
hamstrings are so
Allen,
annoying.
it is, and he's
Hamstrings
dealt
are
with
very
that
annoying.
before too. So
Yeah. So if you don't have Mike Williams and if you were thinking about who to pick up, Hamler is a big name that people yeah, PJ Hamler is a big name that people want to target. You saw what the Chargers did.
Carter as well.
Carter looked good. Chris, I have to give you the credit. You talked. Wait, was it you or was it C? I forgot who said it. Who talked about picking up Everett?
I did.
You
I
did.
said at the beginning. I said I had a
That
good
I
feeling about
I
Everett.
gotta give you credit there. Um, even with Thursday with no Keenan Allen against the Chiefs, I listen. If you don't have a solid tight end, you pick him up. I think you start him
Yeah.
because I think you could give you maybe just a touchdown. But he did great. He played great. Justin Herbert, we know that he played great. I don't see anything else here. There was a lot more. I think there was any more injuries, but there was no more that I see here to talk about. Mac Jones, we could talk about that one. It's fantasy relevance, I guess. Has believed to suffer a lot of back spasms, even though the Patriots played like crap and they didn't do good. My best advice would be stay away from the Patriots passing team. Their wide receivers
Hundred percent.
don't hold them. I think Ramondre Stevenson and Damien Harris they couldn't do much when they're getting losing and they can't move the
I
ball. And
mean,
Mac Jones not playing
when they
good.
know all you have is running,
Yeah, so
they're just gonna stack
they're
the
gonna stack
box.
the box.
So
Yeah, they're gonna stack the box. So, we'll see what happens with Mac Jones. Either he plays or doesn't. I don't think it really does much of a difference. Patriots don't look good right now. Let's just talk a little bit of, some big plays, some big guys that went crazy, and some guys who just didn't do great. I'll bring up the first guy, Patrick Mahomes, 5 touchdowns,
Yeah, he did.
played
He
like
looked
a
great.
maniac. What a game did he have?
Yeah, I like that he looked like I guess you could say the Patrick Mahomes of old because last year he was very inconsistent. He had a lot of intos. He didn't look like the MVP Patrick Mahomes we were used to seeing, but yeah, this week he looked amazing. I mean, unstoppable. It's like every time I looked at red zone, they were covering him throwing another touchdown. It was crazy.
It was freaking crazy.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That was a crazy game. Clyde was a lair. He had two
He
touchdowns.
had two TDs. Yeah, he
He
looked really
had
good as well.
he looked good.
Kelsey looked good.
But come on,
That's
it's
no
freaking Travis
surprise.
Kelce. That's
That's no
Travis Kelce,
surprise.
baby.
You
Yeah.
know,
We
I think
talked about
MVS had a
Saquon.
touchdown as well.
No, I don't think he did.
No. So who's the other receiver that had a touchdown?
Listen, he threw five. I
Because I
don't
know
really.
Juju didn't have a touchdown. That's what I'm
He
saying.
didn't have one
So who were
either.
the other guys?
It
Because he had
wasn't.
five.
It wasn't MVS. I had him on my bench. He only scored 8 points. I don't think he had a touchdown.
Yeah, I would have been.
Well, look up all the stats and how and who he scored to. But I know it was Kelsey. I know two was to Clyde. It was Alaire or one.
Yeah.
No, two was to him. And then another one. I know Isaiah Pacheco came in for garbage time, scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes played great.
So we
And
can go by position. I can tell you who the top five for each position is if you want. And we could
yeah,
talk. But
yeah. I know Patrick Mahomes.
yeah,
Up
so
there.
for QB, it's Mahomes, then Allen, then
Carson
Carson
Wentz.
Wentz.
Yep,
Yep,
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz did
and then
really good as well.
Hurts, and then Herbert.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the top five. And then number
Um,
six, Joe Burrow, Woodson. It's up to you as well. How far you want to go down the
Yeah, and
list?
listen, we'll reach out to we'll talk about those which you said the one name that we're gonna have to talk about now, Carson Wentz. No one drafted him, no one started him, no one picked him up, unless you running a double flex, super flex league with two
It's true.
quarterbacks, but you didn't start him. Carson Wentz, I think could be a great pickup to stream for one of your weeks this week. I think he has a good matchup. I think he looks really good. Um, no one expected it to him to start off this hot,
This
but he
might be
did.
the best talent he's had around him in a while. I don't know what one of the best. Dotson has been.
Mm,
Besides, I mean, if you want to include, you got Pittman
Jonathan Taylor.
and Jonathan Taylor, yeah. But
Ah,
after that, where was it?
um, Jack Doyle.
Okay, so Antonio Brown, not Antonio Brown, Gibson. I was
The
gonna say Brown.
hell?
Antonio Gibson actually came and showed out today. That game.
He did good.
Um, McLaurin, of course. The rookie Jahan Dotson,
Hmm.
he did
I
great.
told ya. I
He did
told you
great. And
at
there's
the
one more
episode.
wide receiver that they had that did good. I forgot for
Uh, oh, excuse me. I know. Terry McLaurin
Curtis
did good.
Samuel as well.
Curtis
Curtis
Yeah.
Samuel.
Samuel. And when
Yeah.
healthy, Curtis Samuel, that's
Listen,
That's also another good pickup because there's a
oh
lot
yeah.
of he's on a lot of people's waivers.
yeah,
Oh
he
yeah,
is
for
on a lot of
sure.
people. He is on a lot of
So I
waivers, and
think
it's
he
true.
has
You
a
could
lot
pick him
more
up.
talented options, is what I meant. Like he has
Yeah.
a lot more play. He got like about three people to throw the ball to, and a good. And if Gibson's gonna keep playing
If
like that,
Gibbs
and if this
keeps the
guy
ball in his
comes,
hands, he was good.
yeah, if he
Oh
doesn't
no.
fumble, I mean, that's
Yeah,
all I'm
listen,
saying.
he did really good. I think right now you're gonna have to ride it and hope that by week 5 when Brian Johnson comes back, that Gibson doesn't lose everything. I don't think, like I said before, when Brian Johnson was gonna be the number one guy to start, I don't think Gibson was gonna disappear from this offense anyways. But I think you enjoy it, and maybe when Brian Johnson comes back, or Brian Robinson, that's his name. I'm sorry. When Brian Robinson comes back, maybe you see what happens, and if you don't like it, at least you got 5 weeks of Gibson dominating. If he does that for 5 weeks, I don't think anybody will complain if he does 20 points or plus every 5 weeks. Let's switch over to the opposite team that they played, Jacksonville. Christian Kirk did amazing.
Hmm.
I think Trevor Lawrence was just only looking his way, like he
Yeah.
was just throwing to Christian Kirk, and he was like a 10th round pick or later. What a steal as a wide receiver one for your team if you have him.
Yeah.
It's such a great steal. James Robinson, this guy, he took his Achilles injury and said, "I didn't feel it. Yeah,
Oh,
I
he
don't
looked
feel
way
no
better
pain."
off that injury than this guy, Akers.
Oh man, don't talk about that game. Wait. Let's not talk about
Oh
that
God,
bum yet.
they had the
James
same
Robinson.
injury.
Listen, James Robinson looks good.
Oh yeah, for sure,
He looks real good. And if
for
I'm not
sure.
mistaken, he guys, he's only rostered in 78% of leagues. So that means that there's about 20 through 2%
I'll tell you right
of
now.
leagues. It's 22% of leagues that he is on your waiver wires. I see him right here, 78
Yeah,
rostered. So he's 22% available. If you have the top waiver, or if people
he
use
was only
Fab,
50% started last week.
50% started, and I was one of them. I didn't start him, but thank God I still won. Thank God because James Robinson played out of his mind, and if you have number one waiver, if he's there, he's your number one waiver target. I don't think there's anybody else you don't go after.
Oh
I
yeah.
think he's the guy. Travis Etienne, he's a rookie. We don't expect these rookies to start off hot. Name me
Mhm.
one rookie that you expected to start off hot. No one popped up that I can think of right now because I mentioned Dobson, but I didn't. No one drafted him for the most part. I don't
Yeah.
find out how many leagues have him even drafted, Chris. I don't even know if he how many people drafted him, and I don't think nobody expected him to start off this hot. So the rookies take a while, and we set this as a podcast. I repeated it. These rookies are not those special Justin Jeffersons, the Jamar Chase. They're not that talent yet where they're gonna just get all that volume. They're gonna slowly get into it. Jake London did solid. Chris Olave did okay. These rookies take a minute. Sky Moore only had
Yeah.
one catch.
56% rostered for
So
Justin
you look at
Jefferson.
that.
Yeah.
56% roster. So
And we're not telling everybody to hit the panic button on them and just drop them from your
no,
team.
no, don't hit the
We're just
panic
It's
button.
saying
only week one,
give
guys.
it a
It's only
little
week
while,
one.
give it a little while, a couple weeks. You see
Yeah,
what they
rookies
got,
take a
and then
while.
they pop off.
Yeah, rookies take a while, and sometimes you wait like almost past half your season when your rookie blows up. I remember when C had Justin Jefferson, and his season was already over, but Justin Jefferson blew up out of nowhere towards the ending of the fantasy season. He's like, "Yo, where you been at, bro? I could
Hmm.
have been you. I drafted you
Only,
for a reason."
only, only real talent, like real special talent, and Jefferson is a special talent. I think the reason it took him a while is because Kirk Cousins took a while to
Yes.
figure out
What?
how good Justin
Listen,
Jefferson
no
was.
one's not gonna get the Jamar Chase start.
Yeah, Jamar
When
Chase, or because his quarterback already
Yeah,
knew
yeah,
who Jamar Chase
you're not
was.
gonna
Kirk
get
Cousins had to
not
figure it
these
out.
quarterbacks, these running backs are not. I mean, sorry, these wide receivers are not gonna get drafted with their quarterback they've been with all of college and then be dominant. It's just not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
and it
Don't
also depends on
expect,
the team
yeah,
too. Look at
don't
Garrett
expect.
Wilson. Do you expect Garrett Wilson to be
Listen, I didn't even get to mention that the Jets weren't even playing him. Like, what is going? Like,
Yeah,
that
I
is
was
what
weird.
upsets
That
me
was
as a
weird.
Jet fan.
Yeah, that
Did
was
you guys
weird.
see that one catch that he caught and he somehow got a first down? Did
It's
anybody
just
see that? He caught a ball at the line of scrimmage. He juked four players just to get it back into the first down. And you're not gonna tell me this kid isn't special. I don't care how much money you're paying Corey Davis. I don't care. He needs to be on the field. Now, if he can't get the playbook down, I think that's still the Jets. That's just the Jets' fault. You should have made sure that this kid had the playbook ready in his head. Now, hope for Zach Wilson to come back. At this point, I'm just being positive. I'm just thinking about the best. Joe Flacco's just not mobile. I don't want to get into it anymore.
for
Um,
sure.
so
You want to do
we,
some waiver wires?
yeah, real quick before we get into that, I wanted to mention a little thing that I heard. Hey, did you know that from the draft, from the first round of the draft, where the number two running back that was supposed to get drafted to the number six running back did terrible? Christian
Uh,
McCaffrey, uh, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara. I'm missing another one that did up. Aaron Jones. Oh, Aaron Jones. He wasn't that high, but from two to six, they
Was
did
it
the
Austin Eckler? Because I
Austin
had him.
Eckler.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Austin
Austin
he
Eckler.
did.
Eckler.
He didn't do
Austin
much.
Eckler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
you know
so
about.
so this
yeah, he
week
ain't do nothing.
he didn't do nothing. So the first
It's
week
okay. He's good.
the first round wide receivers won this battle.
Hmm.
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson,
Woo,
Cooper Cup,
Justin
Devontae
Jefferson. Boy.
Adams with I believe 20 targets or something like that. Crazy numbers. Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs. The top five guys came and they played.
Hmm.
And our
And
top
probably won
five
you your game.
yeah, and our top five running backs didn't, besides Jonathan Taylor, the only reliable, which we've always said he is the safest pick. He will keep you solid. I'm just banking on the upside of Christian McCaffrey, and that's why I had him ranked number one.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
Jonathan Taylor was the only one out of those first round running backs from one to like six that actually produced. And Jonathan Taylor finished top five, I believe. Just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just honest. And Christian McCaffrey, I picked him one in one of my other leagues. The upside is crazy for him, and I agreed with you
Yeah.
when you said that. And I think we just gotta be patient with him. He looked good playing. It's not like he had like a lost a step or something like that.
Oh, 100%.
The team looked like they wanted him involved. He looked good. He was running good. He was doing Christian McCaffrey type things in a few
Yeah.
plays. So you
Hmm.
just gotta give him some time. He's gonna reach
Yeah,
pay dirt.
he's only
He's gonna
getting
get some yards. He's
yeah.
gonna be good.
He's gonna be really good. And before we go to waivers, I had to just squeeze this little piece in right here.
Mhm.
Michael Pittman is that freaking guy, man.
That guy.
He's that guy. He's that guy. Finished top 5 this week. What a monster, Michael Pittman. I believe Matt Ryan threw almost every damn target towards him. Michael Pittman's a stud. I
Yeah.
love him so much. It's like nothing could change it. Last stud that I want to talk about, AJ freaking Dillon. That man
Yes.
is Aaron Rodgers' target. After Christian Watson dropped that 75-yard open pass, Aaron Rodgers said, I can't stand these rookies. And he
Oh
went
my
AJ Dillon
gosh.
for the
That's
rest of
so
the game.
I think I wanted to I would pay good money to be in Aaron Rodgers' head after Watson drops that ball. He was
Oh,
probably like
no.
daydreaming about Devontae Adams as he goes to the sideline. He's like, what?
he
What? He's
he
having like
he
sad
dropped that
music in his
ball.
head.
Yeah, he dropped that ball in his face, and he must have like replayed it in his head that was Devontae Adams running the route and caught the ball, ran the ball in, and it's just like he's like, what just happened?
Oh
There's a
man.
there's a meme I gotta send you later, but it shows Aaron Rodgers sitting on the bench after that play, and it shows the like zoomed out, and it shows Christian Watson standing so far away, and Aaron Rodgers just staring like that, and he's just standing there like
It's-
this.
Yeah,
That's
I heard
crazy,
on
man.
the footballers podcast, he said Christian Watson was running a 75-yard. He would have had a 75-yard touchdown. That after he dropped it, he should have just kept running his route and left and go pick up an Uber and go back. He should have just kept running. He was like, I
it's
got to get later.
honestly, it was so
Yo,
funny. I was like,
I
It
oh,
was
can't, man.
Rogers.
it was sad. And that's another thing, guys. Do not panic on Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah.
He plays the Bears next week. He owns the Bears.
Not even that. If you look at last season, um, what they only scored 3 points in the first game.
I thought they got shut out. I think 3 points were shut out.
I think they only got a field goal. And look, Aaron Rodgers came back and won his back-to-back MVP. So don't worry about him.
And he did not have Alan Lazard, which I'm pretty sure when he comes back, I think you just start him because I think he's
Oh,
gonna just
he's gonna get 25 targets that game.
he's gonna trust
Bro,
Alan Lazard like
he's
a
300
on my
madman.
yards,
bets. He's on my
4
bets, and I
touchdowns.
just see fire behind him, just ready to go. Like I
Aaron
can't wait.
Rodgers is crying right now. Like I don't know what he wants. Like AJ Dillon played great, by the way. Like that was the guy I wanted to talk about, but I
Yeah.
just couldn't get over that.
Alan
AJ
Lazard's
Dillon,
gonna get the ball with 3 man covering him.
oh
Christian Watson's
yeah.
gonna be open. He's not even
Figure it
gonna
out.
look at him.
Listen, AJ Dillon played great, guys. He was on our league winners. One of our league winners, AJ Dillon looked
Hmm.
he looks great, and I
Yeah, he
think
really
he's a
did.
viable start every single week. Aaron Jones didn't produce like him, but I think they're both solid. I think AJ Dillon gets a little bit more of the upside because he looks like the guy that Aaron Rodgers is gonna pass a lot to, and he might be the goal line guy. So
Yeah.
the two things that's very important. But AJ Dillon played really, really great.
And when you
Let
drafted him, like I did, where you drafted him, he's a flex guy. He's not even like, well, depending on how many quarterbacks and running backs you went in the beginning. I went early running backs, so where I drafted him, he was actually a flex guy. So if that's where you have him in your roster, it's a beautiful spot.
it's by far beautiful. So let's talk about some waivers. So
All right, we'll start with QBs,
go ahead,
and
get me rolling.
we already talked about Wentz. If you're looking for a QB this week, if Dak got hurt or something like that, you're looking for look for Wentz. He should be in your
He should
waiver wires. Nobody is really picked him up this week.
16% rostered. He's
Uh,
there.
yeah, for sure. I don't know how deep your leagues are, or how, if you only have 8-man team, or a 14-man team, or you have double QBs, but I don't know who's available in your rosters. But Mariota did okay. It's really depending on what you need. I don't know if you guys have any other QBs in mind that I didn't say.
I like
Yeah,
oh
go ahead.
go ahead. No,
No,
go ahead, Chris.
no, I was just gonna say, he's probably not in your waiver, but he is in ours because Matthew Stafford is in the waivers now.
In the waivers.
He
Look
got
it up.
he got dropped
He got
after
dropped,
week one.
Jacob. You know who dropped him.
No,
Oh. Wow.
had to
I
mention
Wow.
it.
just looked it up and I'm like, no way. But
He
that's not the one I was gonna talk about. I thought
He
it was just
has he
dropped
funny.
has honestly, he has Derek Carr, which I think is actually a viable start.
Yeah.
As well, if you
Yeah.
have Derek Carr or don't, or if you
there's
can,
no way he's on your waivers, but if he is,
yeah,
pick
If
up
he
Derek Carr.
is, no, but I was gonna
No.
talk about Matt Ryan. I think you pick him up
Solid matchup.
solid,
for
very
sure.
solid. We just talked about Michael Pittman doing very good. He's gonna look his way. You have Jonathan Taylor, you have Naheem Himes who's gonna get
Yeah,
a lot of the passing downs. I think Matt Ryan is a very good pick, and they're playing Jacksonville next week, so
yeah.
very
Listen,
very good start as well.
he's playing the team that Carson Wentz was a top five QB in, and that
Yep.
was Jacksonville.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
if Carson Wentz did it, then I could most definitely believe that Matt Ryan could do it. The only thing that I would say is that since they're a division team, those games are always hard. Which, by the way, Chris, credit to you, your sleeper game of the week almost turned out in Houston actually winning the game,
That
which
was
was a
Yes,
good
sir.
absolutely
call.
crazy.
That was a crazy call. Anybody who called Seattle winning was a crazy call.
Oh yeah.
Some people did call it, and it's shocking, but that was a great call, a great sleeper game that people thought that I thought the Colts were just gonna blow them out, and that clearly was not the case.
Colts really
Um,
had to struggle for that win, man. They
yo,
really
they
did.
did. One more quarterback that I'll mention, Baker Mayfield. He faces the Giants. The Giants defense, Tannehill isn't really that good. I think Baker Mayfield's better. I think, like we said, we expect CMC to do a lot better. And with
Mhm.
the Giants, it's a good matchup. A lot of dump off, a lot of passes. I think Baker will be a great streaming option if you have him on your waivers, which he is on your waivers. I think he's a great option to start. And then after that, the only other quarterback that I would think that I could say you could probably take a shot at is Jacoby Brissett, just because he plays the Jets. And it looks like if the Jets are going to keep Flacco, they're going to have trouble scoring the ball, which leaves Brissett maybe throwing maybe one or two touchdowns, maybe, or the running game just takes over. But that'll be the last guy that I'll think of. But yeah, after that, not much that I will go after. Let's
For
talk about
sure.
running backs.
Oh yeah, for
Okay.
sure. We already talked about Jeff Wilson, but I want to talk about this guy here. He's in a team where his running back is probably never gonna lose his job except for injury. But Damian Hillard,
Wow, I
um,
have and I drafted him
yeah,
with
he
to
they
to, to be that
yeah.
my handcuff, and
Yeah,
I think he
I
could be
mean
a start.
Dontrell
Yeah,
Hillard. I
Doncho.
mean, if he's gonna be getting those passing plays and passing downs, 3 receptions for 4 targets, 61 yards and 2 touchdowns. He barely carried the ball, but who else carries the ball
Yeah,
on
he's
that
not gonna
team?
carry
He's
it.
not gonna carry
No.
the ball. He's gonna be the guy that's in PPR, probably gets you 3 or 4 catches with 50 to 60 yards, and that's a good flex option
No.
sometimes, depending on how deep your league. So I do like Damian Hillard as a pickup this week.
Now I would say, if God forbid Derrick Henry, which I hope he doesn't, if he was to get hurt, and if Hilliard does this on third downs, imagine what he'll do be having a full time role.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Because that's all people kept asking, and that was my problem with Henry for the last couple years, is that he never catches the ball. But Henry will shut everybody up because he'll just score 40 fantasy points a week anyways without catching the ball. But when Henry gives you a 8 point fart like this, it makes you think of like, I wish you could catch a couple damn balls to give me some type of double digits. But that's a great option. Chris, what you got?
Um, One of the guys I got Zach Moss from Buffalo.
Hmm.
I like him just because of his matchup. And if you watch the game on Thursday, he did really good. Josh Allen looked his way when he dumped off the ball a lot. He had 6 rushing attempts, 15 yards. Yeah, he fumbled the ball. But then he had also 6 targets passing with 21 yards. He looked really good. Yeah, he has a history of being injured, but again, look at the matchup they have. They're playing Tennessee. If the Giants beat them, imagine what the hell Buffalo's gonna do. These probably there's gonna be a massacre. So I think it's a good pickup.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would say is that I think Devil Singletary looks amazing, and I don't even know why they even doing this committee. I think Singletary should just be the guy. But like you said, Zach Moss did get involved. He did get 6 targets, and he caught all 6 targets. So that is a good thing. I think if you have James Cook, I think you're dropping him at this point. James Cook didn't
Oh
look
yeah.
good at all, and his very first touch was a fumble. So I think he's gonna
Yes.
be in the doghouse for a while. I
Hmm.
think it's a Zach Moss and Devil Singletary's running game. So I think that is a good option. Another guy that I would like to talk about is Kenyon Drake. J.K. Dobbins didn't come back. He didn't play week 1. He might not play week 2, and if he does play week 2, it's probably not going to be the whole load. Kenyon Drake, really solid. He faces against Miami's defense. Not a great matchup, but Baltimore figures out a way to run and be and find a way to give him the ball. he did okay. Nothing too crazy. I think that's just someone that you can stream if you don't get Najee Harris's backup, which I forgot his name. If someone could find the name for me, because I completely forgot his name. I forgot what I forgot.
I know who it is. One second, I had it
But
here.
if you end up missing out on Najee's backup, if you have Najee and he gets hurt and he's out for that week, you can easily pick up Kenyon Drake.
Jalen Warren.
There you go, Jalen
Mhm.
Warren. That's gonna be another guy on our list of waiver wire pickups. I think you should pick up
Running backs.
Jalen
Yeah.
Warren. I think he's worth it, especially if you're a Najee Harris manager. I think you pick him up. I think you waste the waiver because you have to. He's already dealing with some injuries. The last thing you want is to lose him, and then you gain nothing out of it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have Najee and you want to waste it, I guess you can do it. I would much rather waste my waiver on Jeff Wilson that we talked about earlier. I'll much rather waste it on him because we know Elijah Mitchell's out for 8 weeks. The
Yeah.
only problem is that I think this only boosts up Trey Lance and Debo Samuel, which, by the way, that game was terrible for that whole San Francisco team. They were playing in the muddiest field in the craziest weather ever.
Hmm.
Just that game, blank it out.
So yeah.
Cole Kmet gave you a donut, blank it out. That whole game was terrible. Don't even think about that game. They had terrible weather conditions.
Yeah.
Trey Lance would do better. Debo Samuel got you that one touchdown, and after that, that was it. But because they don't have Elijah Mitchell, I think they're gonna run Debo a lot more. Trey Lance is gonna run a lot more, and then Jeff Wilson will be like the third option, which is crazy. But
Yeah.
still, um, I don't really see much.
I'll
What
talk
else to
about one
say?
more running back.
Go ahead.
I want to say Rex Burkhead. Keep
Oh,
an
I
eye on
want to talk
him.
about that. I
Yeah,
think you pick him up actually.
Damian Harris.
Pierce,
No,
Pierce.
Damian Pierce was a big talk before the league, and it looked like Rex Burkhead was the guy. 14 carries, 40 yards, five catches for eight targets, 30 yards, and he did pretty well. For this Houston team, and he was it looked like
Yeah.
in this game the lead back.
Well, this is why I said that the hype got too crazy with Damian Pierce.
Hmm.
And people probably thought I was bugging out. People drafted Damian Pierce with their fifth, sixth pick. Listen, the coaching staff, the team, they love Rex Burkhead. And that's exactly the same issue. It's not the same issue, but it's similar to what Swift is going through with Jamal Williams. The team loves Jamal Williams. So, Rex Burkhead last season had over 200 carries as the RB1 in Houston. That's not going away. Damian Pierce might take over that backfield later in the second half of the season. Hopefully, you hope it's closer. But Rex Burkhead is the guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely is the guy. I think you pick him up immediately, and you can even start him as a flex because he's gonna get those carries. He's gonna get those carries. Now I know I mentioned it, so I want to talk about it real quick. Jamal Williams scored 2 touchdowns
Yeah,
and the goal line.
yeah.
Yes.
Swift
Another
still had a
guy.
great game,
Oh
but
yeah, for sure.
I heard this and I'm gonna copy it. If Swift was the main guy and scored all three of those touchdowns plus his receiving, this is CMC 2.0.
Oh yeah.
Like he could legit be the number one pick if that was the case.
Hmm.
But they love Jamal Williams. He's a captain. They love him. He's not going nowhere. He's gonna get goal line carries. So if it wasn't for Swift getting that last touchdown, he would have played okay. Maybe not really worth a high second round pick, but when he scores, he's worth it. I think
Yeah.
Swift and I believed in him, and I have him on
I
my
have
on
him
my
as
top.
on Monoway. So and Swift is one of those guys who the talent, if he was the main guy, would, like you said, make him a number one over, like,
Oh my
I think
goodness.
overall pick over CMC, over Jonathan
Yeah.
Taylor.
He,
This guy can literally like do it all
yes,
like
he can
everywhere.
do.
And
Yeah.
if Williams like was not there, I mean, I don't wouldn't mind if he if there was
No,
some
no, no,
nah,
no, no,
no,
no.
I'm kidding. But pick
But
up Jamal Williams because they are gonna keep using him, especially in the goal
uh,
line.
I think he's rostered in a lot of leagues already. But if he is available, like Steve
Actually,
said,
I'm looking at my, like, this is where I'm getting my information from. I'm looking for my league, and I got a 12-team league here. He's available, so I'm looking at him right now. So
listen, that's a
what
good stat.
happens?
That's a good pickup as a flex. He's gonna get goal line carries. He's gonna be involved in this offense, no matter you like it or not. As a Swift manager, he's gonna be involved. There's not much you can say. Let's go wide receivers. See what
Yeah.
we can talk about wide
So
receivers.
wide receivers. We talked about him earlier. The top five wide receivers are people that we already know and have picked up, but the people who we haven't picked up in our roster, I have one here. Duvernay. We talked about him earlier. it looks like Lamar Jackson is spreading the ball around in Baltimore, and Duvernay was able to get open. He had caught all four of his targets for 52 yards, 2 touchdowns. Um he's probably not rostered in your league, not gonna lie.
No,
He's probably there in the waiver wire, waiting for you to pick him up. You would probably want to look at the matchup for Duvernay. If Baltimore has a really good matchup, he could probably have another good game. He had a good matchup against the Jets, and he was able to get 20 points. So if he
yeah.
gets another good matchup, he can probably give you another good game. I don't know. You all right? And you guys want to say anybody else in
Yeah,
wide receiver?
Chris, give us one.
Um, I got Zay Jones as one of my pickups.
Oh,
He looked really good, and I think he is the number 2 option for
yeah.
Trevor Lawrence. He looked his way 9 times at 6 catches, 65 yards. He looked really good. Yeah, they're playing pretty good defense in Indianapolis next week, but um he looked really good and really promising, and I liked what I seen from him. And yeah, that's my pickup. I have another one that I was gonna talk about. No one's
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
it's gonna upset you, Jay, but it is what it is. Corey Davis. You said it already. They didn't play Garrett Wilson at all for some reason. Um, and look, he had nine targets as well, 6 catches, 77 yards. Um, and if they're again next week, they're not gonna play Garrett Wilson. I think Corey Davis is a pretty good start. Sorry, Jay, but it is what it
I
is.
mean, whatever. You just ruined my whole mood.
No shot.
uh, another guy I want to talk about, which is going to answer your question from earlier, Christian. McCole Hartman. He scored that
Yes.
touchdown for the
Okay.
Chiefs.
Yes. Yes.
It,
Yes.
it was him that scored. He plays Thursday against the Chargers. We're hoping it's a shootout, but Thursday games are like a freaking
It's
haunt.
weird,
It's
but it's
weird, but you
yeah.
hope it's a shootout.
Yeah, I think it's
Hopefully.
gonna
Um,
be a shootout.
you
They
hope it's a
always
good
shoot out.
game. McCole Harmon could score in a pass, and I think he has a good opportunity. I'm gonna mention another guy, and he got some attention, and that was Sterling Shepard. He only got 4 targets, but he did score a touchdown. So if the Giants are actually gonna figure this offense out, that would be an interesting pickup, just because you have Kenny Galladay, who's not gonna do crap.
Who was still a bum? Was he
Who's
even
still a bum?
playing? I
Yeah,
watched the whole game.
he
I
played.
don't think I seen him.
He played.
Like
He
that's
actually caught
so
2 balls. He actually
stupid.
caught 2 balls.
Oh
But
God, waste of money.
Sterling Shepard has always been the Giants' only person that could be actually good until Tony came along, but Tony couldn't stay healthy. And Shepard was a solid pick. I think if you're really weak at wide receivers and you're really weak at flex, I think you start him. I mean, he doesn't have a great matchup against the Panthers, but I think they get the way to give him the ball. And
Well, it's the Giants, so it's always not a great matchup. I didn't think they had a great matchup against Tennessee. I thought, I
yeah,
mean,
no,
so on all honesty, look at what they're doing and what they're doing in production. And especially for players in the bad team. Like, are you ever gonna sit CMC? No, he's in a terrible team. So
yeah.
obviously CMC and Shepard, those are 2 different tiers by like
Oh
five.
no, 100%.
But at the same time, you could also use that logic for some of these
Yeah,
players.
but yeah, you have to, because people are gonna look at what people did last week and just pick them up, expecting them to do it again. Shepard only had 2 catches, but he has 71 yards and a touchdown. That's a breakaway touchdown. Not every week you're gonna get that, but hopefully you get maybe more receptions from Shepard, and maybe you get that big play from him as well. Um, we all said it earlier, so we're gonna go over it really quickly. Um, Joshua Palmer from Chargers, if he's available in your league, you pick him up. I think you could start him on your flex. And Curtis Samuel is available. Pick him up. You can lock him in. Hope
Oh
for the
yes, Curtis
best.
Samuel. I love Curtis Samuel as well.
And that's our wide receivers. We could go over tight ends really quickly, and then we'll end the show.
Yes, for sure. So we're looking at the tight ends. Number two, I really want to talk about number two tight end of the week, OJ Howard. OJ Howard in Houston. I don't know, man. He was only 2 receptions, but if he's gonna be the guy in the red zone, he wasn't used
Oh,
he wasn't used in the game as much, but let's say that he's the guy in the red zone, and then on top of what he did, he's now catching other targets. I mean, it's hard to really tell with OJ Howard because his only 2 catches were those 2 touchdowns. That's why he did so great. But Is he
Um,
the red zone threat? Is he the guy that's gonna
I
be, I mean, you guys say
I'm
what you gotta
I
say.
mean, I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and I'm gonna just say that's all smoke. Don't buy
Yeah.
into it. That's gonna be my thought. There's gonna be tight ends who do this on a weekly basis that you never heard of that score 1 or 2 touchdowns. I think that's all smoke. But if you believe in him and you think he could do it again and maybe get that red zone target, go right ahead. I mean, I guess that's something you could do. I'm gonna go with um well, we already said it, but I'm gonna just repeat it, and that's Everett.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do
Everett
love
this
Joe Burrow.
Thursday. We said it early in the episode. Everett has a good advantage this week with no Keenan Allen. Herbert's gonna look for to give all those targets away to somebody. So I think Everett is a good tight end pickup, and you can start him and not think about it. If you don't have the top three guy, two top three tight ends, you're gonna have to pick up this tight end and start him. Go ahead, Chris. Who you got?
Um, I got Albert O. Russell
Okay.
Wilson looked at his tight ends more than his wide receivers in last night's game. Um, and for good reason. If you pick them up, I mean they have a good matchup against Houston. So if it's gonna be anything like yesterday's game, you could be looking at a big game from Albert O. Maybe, maybe not. They do have three tight ends, which he hit all three tight ends in last night's game, which is
You did?
insane.
Yeah.
But he is the number one tight end on the team. And like I said, they're playing Houston, a very good matchup. And like I said, anything like yesterday's game where they don't target Sutton or Judy that much, and he needs the security blankets to just toss up to a tight end, Albert O is your guy.
Yeah, I would definitely say this though, just to help you out, is uh, uh Alberto got targeted 6 times, and Judy and Sutton got targeted 7 times. It's just that in the first half, it was the tight end city. It was all the tight
Oh
ends
yeah.
that got the attention. They definitely
Hmm.
got and then the second half, it went to the wide receivers. So the wide receivers got one more target more, which is a good thing though. Like Chris said, if you want to pick up a guy who got 6 targets, who by the way, Wilson is gonna have to come into this game this week and blow the lights out of the stadium, because if not, there's gonna be questions already.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna have to throw 3 to 4 touchdowns, and maybe one does go to David Alberto, because he is one of the top guys he's targeting. So I definitely do agree with that. I like that pick. Um, Another guy that I was thinking about is Robert Tunyon from the Green Bay Packers. That was one of his old reliables before he tore his ACL. And Rodgers only has a few reliables left on that team. And if these guys aren't going to catch balls, Robert Tunyon is going to end up getting more targets. He had 5 targets in the Green Bay game against the Vikings, but it could be more. You could
Yeah.
see more targets if these rookies aren't going to catch the ball. So
Yeah,
I
for
think that's a
sure.
solid pick. And I don't know why I see in one of my leagues Pat Fryermuth available at a
Oh yeah,
tight
that's
end. But if
crazy.
Pat Fryermuth is there, that's the first tight end you go after.
I
Yeah,
see I see also he did okay. He had that one touchdown. What I'm seeing here is though is the targets. And
don't tell me you're gonna say this
Tyler,
name.
yeah,
Yeah,
listen,
you
come on.
are. You are.
You can't disregard that though. Tyler Conklin
Uh,
got 7 targets. 7 targets. He only caught 4 of them. One
Here's
of
my
them was a
problem.
touchdown.
Here's my problem. One of them was a touchdown. He caught 4 passes for 14 yards. Like I understand.
But still, if he's getting
Yeah, I
targeted
understand.
7 plus times,
I understand. I understand. I understand.
I mean, because he wasn't throwing it to the good guys, so maybe that's why they did so bad. I mean, just keep an eye on him. If he's getting another seven
Listen,
targets
you're
and
right.
Wilson's out for another 2 weeks, then maybe that's a guy that maybe Flacco likes.
Listen, you're right, and obviously Joe Flacco doesn't have time to throw the ball deep. The Cleveland Browns have a good front seven. They're gonna give the Jets offensive line some trouble, so it probably is gonna be Tyler Conklin. I think the best start that week will probably might be Michael Carter, and then Elijah Moore, and then probably Conklin. I think after that, I think that's where you go. I think you hit it right there on the money there. So we did tight ends. Uh, let's quickly pick one defense on your waivers that we think has a great matchup this week. I'm gonna go first because I'm saying it. The Cincinnati Bengals have the Dallas Cowboys with no Dak Prescott, and then the following week they face the Jets, which Joe Flacco will still be there. So you have 2 good starting weeks on your defense. I think that's the first defense you pick up. They face Dallas, who just lost their quarterback, who didn't even do good with their quarterback. So it shouldn't be that well either. So I think Bengals are a great pickup.
Yeah, I'm trying to see here who I would pick up for the next week. If you want to take a chance, they do score a lot. Like honestly, I'm not even gonna say this team actually, but
Go ahead, Chris. Just
I
say
was I was gonna say the Commanders because they face the Lions, but the Lions look like they know how to score,
No,
right?
the
And they
Lions can
Oh,
score.
they gonna
Look
score.
what they did to Philly, and Philly has one of the best defenses.
yeah,
Well,
So
what
so
I
happened
don't know.
was Detroit is great at this. They're gonna lose. They're gonna be down by a lot of points. They're probably gonna throw a pick six. Probably gonna throw a fumble, and the defense is gonna score because the Eagles did get a pick six. But then all of a sudden, the Detroit is gonna come back out of nowhere and make it interesting, and then your defense is gonna go right back down to the points. So that is an interesting pick.
I mean, the only person I can really think of, and it's probably they're probably already rostered, but defenses are weird. And this is a good defense, so I would think they're rostered. They're rostered in my league. So the Browns facing the
Yeah, I
Jet,
was just looking at that. They're only rostered in 46% of leagues, so that's
yeah.
half the leagues basically. So
So
if you have Cleveland Browns, they have a great matchup against the Jets. And then they face the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are also a great matchup because Trubisky hasn't shown really nothing yet. So I think those are two great matchups for the next 2 weeks. Chris, give us one, bro.
it's hard because what's
Yeah,
available is
it's
not playing somebody
yeah.
great.
I mean, I guess if you don't have them, the Colts, they're playing Jacksonville. I mean, we talk good things about their receivers and everything, but you know, you still, how much can you really trust Trevor Lawrence and that team? One good week, okay, but I maybe the Colts is a good
Okay.
pickup.
Yeah, and if
I
the
don't really, I can't
Steelers
really give you anyone
No,
else.
if the
I
Steelers
understand.
are not if the Steelers are not rostered, they're facing New England
Oh,
this
the
week.
Steelers are rostered. They're
Yeah,
rostered. The
especially after this week's going
Oh
Yeah,
28
yeah,
points.
definitely.
I'm looking at one team that you just said it. Funny, if you really need a defensive stream, and if your defense has a crazy matchup, and they're facing Josh Allen, or if they're facing Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, I don't think the Patriots are a bad pickup. I think Patriots face Pittsburgh. I don't think that'd be a bad matchup because
Shut your
Trabi-
mouth.
yeah, Trubisky, if
Listen, they don't have
especially
their running back.
if they don't have
Yeah,
Najee
they
Harris,
don't.
I
They
think
don't.
that could be a really good defensive stream. I think that could probably shock some people if they get intel, but that would be a good streaming option. But look, you know,
Just a tip, just for anybody who's new to fantasy. What I like to do, I don't know if anybody else does this, but this is just a little tip. Don't waste your waiver on the
no,
defense.
no,
Wait till waiver Wednesday is done and people
Mhm.
are losing their waivers and they're going down the
yes,
list. And after Wednesday, before Thursday's game, pick up the defense you want to use for your roster. This way, you don't lose
yeah,
your waiver spot. Let's say you're waiver spot number 2, and you don't really want to pick up anybody this week. You want to wait for an even bigger injury or whatever
hmm
it is. Don't waste your waiver number 2 on a defense. Wait till Wednesday after everything is done and over with. Pick up a defense, and you'll still be waiver number 2. Just a little
that's funny
nugget of
because in our home league in Aaron's league last season, people were wasting their waivers on defenses that are going up against the Jets. The saddest thing in the world. Like they were wasting their waivers just to face the Jets. It was so sad. Listen,
Same thing with kickers if they're on a bye
yeah,
week. Same
no,
thing
yeah,
with them.
kickers. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
for
don't worry
sure.
about that. Follow what C just said. Listen to what Chris said about the waivers. Listen to what we're saying, guys. Try to get yourself ready for the new season. Now, this episode will be ready. It will be up and ready. But our next episode is gonna be our big starts and sits. But let's talk about it real quickly here for Thursday's matchup. You're playing Mahomes. You're playing Juju. I think Juju. You're playing. He had a solid week one. Calais Edward-Helaire. Some people didn't start him. I think you start him this week. I think he's a good start. I think you could start MVS maybe or McCole Hartman. You're starting Travis Kelsey. On the Chargers side, you're starting Justin Herbert. You're starting Austin Eckler. You're starting Mike Williams. Do not sit him because of that first bad week. This happens, guys. This happens. Mike Williams, if
You've had him
should
before. I think you know
yes.
the
No, no,
pain.
I know. I didn't have him.
Oh,
I
I
actually
thought you
still
had him.
I have him in my league now. It's so
Yeah,
so sad. I still won. It's okay.
obviously.
Um, start him. And don't be worried. If he has another bad game, then you start to question. But
You start
it's week
Gerald
one.
Everett if you were
You
able to
start
pick him
Joel.
up.
If you don't have the top three, top five tight ends, you're starting Joel Everett to pick him up over whoever the hell you have. You're starting him. I'm starting Everett over Kokomet. I'm starting Everett over um
Dawson Knox.
Dawson Knox, I'm starting him over Albert O. Because some people did drop Albert O. I'm starting Everett over a lot of tight ends that are probably not around that same range. So I think you give him the start. Um, Joshua Palmer, I think you flex him. I really think you take the shot on him. If you want to take a shot at anybody else, I don't agree with starting Carter. That's just my
Yeah,
opinion.
I think that was a fluke week. We gotta
Yeah, I don't
see.
think
We
you
gotta see
start
more.
him. No, I don't think you start him. I think if you want to pick him up after the claims to stash or see, that's not bad at all. Um, and that's pretty much it. I wouldn't start either one of the defenses if you have them. I wouldn't
No,
start them. The
I
kickers,
predict
if you
negative
have them,
points.
yeah, yeah. Listen,
It's,
you're starting them. You're starting almost everybody on your roster with the Chiefs and the Chargers. There's not much to go over. Start them. Start Juju. Have faith in all your squad and all those guys in that game. It should be a fun game. The next episode will be starts and sits. A lot of names that we're gonna come at you guys. A lot of stuff that we're gonna believe that these guys are gonna have a bounce back week. These guys may have a bad week. So we're gonna talk about it. That was our waiver wire talk and our game recap of almost as much as we could go through what was huge, what was bad. Michael Thomas, great first game back. So keep rolling with it. That is J and C's podcast. We will hit you guys back up with the next episode. We will see
tomorrow.
you tomorrow and deuces. That is it. Bye.